my name is Siti Hajar binti Kalam Hamidi. My matric number is HFT20303. Today I want to present about introduction of Tenko Holding Berhad and Genting Malaysia Berhad. Why we choose these two large company? Because this company has a great impact on a person or group that will develop a company such as that involving the tourism, hospitality and wellness sector to learn about how to run a company to move forward over time. Both of these companies have huge profit every year. As attached to the current ratio of these two company is not much different at all. This company is very closely related to the hospitality, tourism and wellness industry because it focuses on providing lodging to visitors in the hospitality related industry such as hotel, motel, restaurant, cruise ship, country club, casinos and conversion center. Hospitality is a highly significant component of the tourist because and entail the courteous treatment or guest or tourists.
Hi, my name is Floriani Somyun and my matric number is H21A2051. And now we move to the background of the company. Firstly, Tenko Holding Berhad, or often known as Tenko, was established in Malaysia as a public limited company called Jeram Kuantan Malaya Ltd on December 8, 1958, and on April 15, 1966, the name was changed to Jeram Kuantan Malaya Berhad, then assumed its present name on 21st June 1997. On May 31st, 1961, the company's common share were admitted to trading on the main board of Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange, now known as Bursa Malaysia Security Berhad. For the Genting Malaysia Berhad, the Genting Group was founded in 1965, as it is led founder Tan Sri Lim Gotong. The company was incorporated in 1968 and floated on the stock exchange in 1971. The Genting Group currently consists of Genting Berhad and its publicly traded subsidiaries, Genting Malaysia Berhad, Genting Plantation Berhad, Genting Singapore Limited, Genting Energy Limited, and Resort World Las Vegas LLC are its two principal unlisted subsidiaries. Thank you.
My name is Nurul Aisyah binti Azmi. My matric number is H21A3029. I will continue about ratio and trend analysis. First is liquidity ratio. As stated in the table, current ratio are decreased from 2020 to 2021. Current ratio in 2020 reflect the ability to pay its short-term obligation on time than in 2021. In 2020, the quick ratio reflects lowest ability to pay its short-term obligation without really in inventory because the table above show that quick ratio in 2020 was lowest than 2021. The table show that net working capital in 2021 is lowest than in 2020, which means net working capital in 2020 had higher value absolute measure in liquidity than in 2021. In 2020, the average collection period show the highest ratio indicated that firm has problem in collection date than in 2020. Meanwhile, both fixed asset turnover in 2021 and 2020 have the same high ratio reflect the inventiveness of fixed asset to generate sale. In both 2020 and 21, debt ratio had the same amount, which is 0.442%. The same ratio reflect the same amount of debt to finance asset. For debt to equity ratio, the percentage fell from 2020 at 1.48% to 1.24% in 2021, where the lowest ratio reflects the lower amount of debt. Meanwhile, for time interest earning ratio, highest ratio in 2020 is 4.76%, indicated that the firm can meet loan requirement and lowest risk of default than in 2021. In 2020, return on equity showed the lowest ratio, which is negative 0.11%, that indicate lowest return to shareholders than in 2021 at negative 0.09%. The same goes to return on asset, which illustrate lowest ratio that indicate a lower return on a firm investment, which is negative 0.06% in 2020 than negative 0.05% in 2021. The table above always show that in 2021 the gross profit margin show a higher ratio at 0.27%, which indicate higher contribution margin than in 2020 at negative 0.09%. In 2020, operation profit margin show lowest ratio at negative 3.99%, which indicate worse productivity than in 2021 at negative 2.55%. Same goes to net profit margin in 2020 that show lowest ratio at negative 5.11%, that will indicate worse income to shareholder than in 2021 at negative 3.11%.
Hello, my name is Esmeralda Ilara Jaharin and my number matrix H21A2039, and I will present the ratio and trend analysis for Genting Berhad. For liquidity ratio, the current ratio, quick ratio and net working capital shows increased amount from 2020 to 2021. For activity ratio, the total asset turnover, the account receivable turnover, the inventory turnover and the fixed asset turnover show decrease from 2020 to 2021. However, the average collection period show increase from 2020 to 2021. For leverage or debt ratio, both debt ratio and debt to equity ratio show increase from 2020 until 2021. However, the time interest earned ratio show decrease from 2020 to 2021. For profitability ratio, all the ratio which is return on equity, return on asset, gross profit margin, operating profit margin, and net profit margin show increase from 2020 to 2021. That's all from me. I give it to the next person.
Hi, my name is Nur Atira bint Abdul Aziz. My matric number is H21A2949. I will present a ratio comparative analysis about Tangkol Holding Berhad and Genting Malaysia Berhad. Liquidity ratio. For the first one is the current ratio for the year 2021. Tangkol Holding Berhad in 2021, the current ratio is 0.97, and for the Genting Malaysia Berhad is a 1.81. The net is quick ratio for the Tangkol Holding Berhad is a negative 0.21, and for the Genting Malaysia Berhad is a 1.77. And the last is net capital working is 2,194 for the Tangkol Holding, and the Genting Malaysia Berhad is 2,479.80. For the next is activity ratio. For the first one is asset turnover for the Tangkol Holding Berhad is a 0.02, and for the Genting Malaysia Berhad is a 0.40. For the second one is account receivable turnover for the Tangkol is a 3.11, and for the Genting is a 5.79. Average collection period is the third one. For the Tangkol is 117.80, and for the Genting is 62.99. And the net is inventory turnover 0.04 is a Tangkol and 32.83 for the Genting Malaysia Berhad. And the last activity ratio is the fixed assets turnover. For the Tangkol is a 0.02 and the Genting is a 0.70. Leverage and debt ratio. The first is debt ratio. For the Tangkol 0.41, and for the Genting is 0.56. The second one is debt to equity. for the Tangko is a 1.24, and for the Genting is 9.72. And the last one is the time interest earned ratio. For the Tangko is 40.47, and for the Genting is 1.52. Profitability ratio. For the first one is return on equity. For the Tangko is negative 0.09, and for the Genting is negative 0.08. The second one is a return of asset. For the Tangko is negative 0.05, and for the Genting is negative 0.03. The third one is a gross profit margin. For the Tangko is 0.26, and for the Genting is 0.04. The fourth is a operating profit margin. For the Tangko is a negative 2.55, and for the Genting is negative 0.40, and the last is a net profit margin. For the Tangko is a negative 3.11, and for the Genting is negative 0.25.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Aziza binti Emade. My metric number is H2182957. I would like to present about the overall analysis in our presentation. In overall analysis, this is as an outcome of Genting Malaysia Berhad improved performance in 2021 in terms of total asset turnover, account receivable turnover, average collection duration, and gross profit margin. Anyway, Tengko Holding Berhad also performed better in 2021 in terms of fixed asset turnover, stable debt ratio, and profitability measure like operating profit margin and net profit margin. So, in order to increase their long-term profitability and financial performance, both companies may also look into new market, upgrade their product offers, and optimize their business processes. In conclusion, in evaluating the fundamentals of a company, the financial ratio is an indicator that can help for the evaluation. We can conclude that Genting Malaysia Berhad is a company with better performance than Tengko Holding Berhad. The success of Genting company cannot only be seen in terms of profit, can even proven in terms of inventory turnover and high asset turnover, causing the Genting company go generate great sales so that can make a bigger profit year. In addition, with the profit obtained by company, the company's operator can employ smarter worker from the point of view of their knowledge and experience so that they are able to produce quality work.